Okay. Could you tell me about your fears? I guess that now it sounds all pink and rainbows.
No,
but being an entrepreneur is a very long and tough journey, right?
Yeah.
So, what was your biggest fear, and how did you handle this?
I think growing up in a farming community, we always have the fear of not having enough at the end of the day. And also, I always wake up with the drive of producing something, because I know that I don't have to. I don't really have to. But it's part of me that's, oh, what if we don't have enough or something like that? So there's always that fear. But I did my TED Talk last June, and I was actually talking about fear. I feel like fear, when you dream about something this big, it always goes with fear. The challenge is that dream always has to be bigger than the fear. Otherwise, the fear will eat up you and then the dream. So I have a couple of things that I was very scared of. For example, when I first opened my first startup, I had to borrow money for TÄM. Because
for the TÄM?
Yes, because we came to a point where we had to so a lot of people are using the ticketing system, right? But we have to pre-produce printed tickets, thousands and thousands of printed tickets, and that needed investment. We had headcount and all that. I had to call my Vietnamese friends, and that's why I feel like I'm Vietnamese, because I have Jay in Vietnam that I used to call when I run out of cash and all that. So there's always that fear. Number two, of course, the other fear is that you already established a lot of things. What if this thing doesn't work? Yeah, you always have a point where you question what you're doing, because it's not always every day that you receive an award.
Always doubting and re-questioning yourself.
Yes, there will be clients that saying no for certain reasons you don't really know why. And most importantly for me, because my job is working with investors, of the fear that maybe these investors don't find me the right person to represent the company, you know, because each investment firm, they know what they're looking for. They're looking for certain buzzwords, etc. But we don't customize anymore. This is who we are. If you want what you see, you invest. If you don't want, then it's not a match. We need someone who matches what we're looking for as well. So there are that fear that's still self-doubt. I feel like fear is also a self-doubt is a version of fear. So there's always that. It's always there. But as I said, you wake up in the morning with that fear, you convert that into motivation. You convert that into your driving.
How do you convert that?
By telling myself, okay, that you're there. What can I do to either address you, or what can I learn from you out there? So one thing I learned in my late 20s is to always be ready to say I need advice, I need help. Because when in my early 20s, I was very arrogant. As I told you earlier, I didn't want to ask help. I felt like asking help is a form of weakness. It isn't. It isn't. You're not, as long as you're not bothering people. And if they are the right people to provide you with that help, they won't feel it like it's bothersome. Ask help if you need. Yeah, ask people. Just the fact that you can talk to people.
You don't know everything.
Exactly.
You need to stay humble and ask for help anyway.
So now if I'm confused with something, or if I'm not confident about something, I call people. And you better pick up.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I love that. Yeah. Okay, so that's all about fears. How do you balance your work life and your private life? Being an entrepreneur, it sounds like your work is your life.
Right.
So do you make
like a balance out of it too?
Do you balance it?
So in my 20s, I traveled the world. So I've been to over like 60 countries and all that. I made sure that I got exposed to all of this, because before, when I was young, my only dream is to be in New York.
Something like in America,
yeah,
right?
Somewhere in the US.
American dream.
Yeah.
Is that still this case?
No, I mean, not depends on the year. Sometimes I
But
want to go
still,
to,
right?
but I go to Paris every year.
Oh, more than me. Okay.
So it's no longer the
Okay.
dream. So, but in my 20s, I exposed myself in traveling the world. I've been to, I don't know, like weird places in Bolivia and all these places, right? The more investments I put in business, I realized that work-life balance, as a lot of people are saying it, is okay. I have nothing against it. If that works for you, go ahead. But I really learned how to do work-life blend. I just felt like if you say work-life balance, you put a line between work and life. And it's frustrating because if work goes into the sphere of life, you get, oh, I'm stressed. Nah. Or if I work too much life, oh, I'm not being really productive. I learned that waking up in the morning, potentially I could receive a message from my mom, and at the same time I could receive a message from, one of my business partners, and it's fine. It's just a matter of making sure that your attention is towards that
person
point.
or that situation.
Yeah, at a certain point. So,
but you don't need for you, according to you, don't need to separate.
Yeah, no. I think it's very stressful. That's why a lot, in my opinion, the concept of work-life balance causes stress. Because the moment one overlaps the other, you find a reason to be disappointed. Right? If you accept that these two are combined, I could potentially be waking up in Madagascar tomorrow expecting a conference call with my business partners in Manila, and it's fine. I don't feel depressed that, oh, I'm on a holiday, why are you calling me? It's okay. It's work. I'm blending work and life, and it's blending perfectly.
And it's perfect for you.
Yes.
So you still have time for your family, for...
Yeah. So I have church. Believe it or not, I go to church every Sunday.
I go to church too.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So I go to church every Sunday. My mom always still calls me 6 a.m. in the Philippines, no matter where I am in the world. She doesn't know that there's time difference.
Oh.
She doesn't get it. So I told her, Mom, it's like 10 p.m. here or something. She's like, oh, it's time for church. What do
so
you
you go
mean?
because she comes
It's 6 a.m. on
because
Sunday. And I told her, okay, I go tomorrow because it's still Saturday here. And she said, okay, we go into church. You call me after you go to church. But anyway, every Sunday I try to make it as possible to go to church. It's just my way of connecting to something bigger than I am. Right? Yeah. And it makes me feel close to my parents. And of course, I make sure I call.
Can you tell me about the hardest situation that you have to fight? How did you overcome that?
I think it was a pile up of things. So my mom was diagnosed with something on her breast that could potentially be breast cancer. We didn't know what it was. So that was the first time that I felt really scared that no matter how much you have, whatever you have, these things you cannot solve, you cannot control. That was potentially the toughest part that I was in. And that was the first month that we opened UpUpApp.
Oh my God.
So it was just really piling up. I was sitting down there and I was like, okay, for UpUpApp, I don't really have a problem. Both problems, I could solve them if I can pay for them, but I cannot because my time will be spent with my family, but UpUpApp needs my time. I can't just leave them, say, $100,000 and then they run on their own. It's not going to happen. So this was the time when I realized that there are things that, beyond our control. And all you really have to do is to make sure you compose yourself to be the best you can at that moment, because there are also people pulling strength from you. So the best thing you can do is to be a source of strength, because there are also people around you who might be needing it. And number two, to talk to friends. Because a small gesture of, a small 30-minute coffee with someone close to you can completely change your day, can completely change your outlook in life. And that's very, very important.
So it's really important to be well surrounded by genuine people.
Yes. People who are open to talk about anything without judgment. I think a lot of people are scared to share because of judgment. I'm like, no, I don't really care. Yeah, right.
And also because maybe sometimes you want to numb your emotions, so you don't want to share a lot.
But a lot of it really is the fear of, oh, what are people gonna say, right? Or what if I share this to them? What are they gonna think of me? People are always gonna have something to say, but always focus on the good things that people give towards you. Okay. I learned to be really appreciative on every day.
Grateful.
Yes, to be always grateful with small and big things. And I always tell this to my team, like this startup journey, okay, we're doing well, but it's gonna be tough. It's still gonna be going tough. Find a way to say I'm thankful today for something. That's gonna change a lot.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Do you wake up every day and thank for something that you are grateful for?
Always. So I always, before I always wake up with that fear of, remembering not having enough. But now I wake up with, oh my God, thank you. Like, okay, this
thank
is
you. Yes.
It's a big thing to do. I think the older I get, the more I realize how important these small things
is to appreciate it and just to enjoy it.
Yeah. In my 20s, I'm like, boom. Like, what's my target today? Go. I'm like, when people talk about motivation and being grateful, I was like, duh. I'm like, what is that? Yeah, right? Now that I really appreciate
now you
it.
understand it.
I understand the power of it.
Because the more you are being appreciative, the more you also receive.
Yeah. It's really powerful. Just changing how you go into your car in the morning because you're grateful of something. How you talk to your driver, how you deal with your people and
small
all that.
Things.
Could change. That being grateful could change your whole day.
I guess that you are really mindful also, I think.
Yeah, I do a lot of things to improve my spirituality that I cannot share in the video.
That's the point.
Yeah. But I did a lot of exploration around the world on how people conceive spiritual growth, and I experienced them. And I think at the end of the day, it's really knowing yourself, being grateful with what you have, and to just give out what's good. Something not good, try to hold it back. If you can, that's a responsibility.
So how do you do to be that mindful? Do you do any
coffee
meditation?
first?
Coffee first?
Have 3 cups of coffee in the morning.
Vietnamese coffee?
Always.
Okay.
Always. So always have. No, I'm not kidding. I always have like 3 cups of coffee in the morning. So I have an espresso and then Americano.
And then a cappuccino, no?
No, more Americano. So I think that's the first step for me. Have my coffee, but really, if I'm given a situation that someone I am not happy with, I reflect a little bit and really say, okay, where is this coming from? This is something I learned from a friend in Brazil. They told me that people are only coming from 2 places, a place of love and a place of fear.
Oh, so nice.
Anything outside that only goes back to that 2 things. When you doubt yourself, it's fear. When you're angry, it's fear. It's not anger, it's fear. You're scared of something, that's why you're angry about. Or everything else is about love. That's my kind of mantra that I follow when I deal with people. I still get angry because
we're human.
I still get angry, and I because out of frustration, and that frustration again is a form of fear of what ifs, right?
What if?
Yeah. And I get angry when I lose trust with people. I easily give trust, and I feel like that trust should be valued and should be respected. If you give me a reason not to trust you, then it really pisses me off. But as much as possible, a lot of people out there, I trust them. I trust people easily, very, very easily.
Are you more like a people person? Or not that much?
That's what people say. That's what I don't think so. Because I'm very tough. I feel like people can find better bosses than I am. Because I feel like I'm very tough. But some of my teams, they always tell me, Paul, you're too nice, Yeah. That's why they named me, because they couldn't figure me out.
They still don't know who you
are. They
are.
called me Kitty Thanos, because I'm like a kitty. But when I'm angry, like, go. So I think that's the beauty of it, knowing yourself and really just improving mindfulness and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
I'm hoping I could improve that in the coming years.
So,
Yeah.
speaking of which, the coming years, what are your future plans for either for your business or for your more personal side life?
The business is very easy. So majority of the businesses, they have a 5-year plan. So it's all about expansion. I told them that Southeast Asia is something that's already very comfortable for us in terms of growth. So I really want to go beyond Southeast Asia. I want most of the businesses to be like my marketing agency, where they are already in the States, they're already in Africa. The goal in the next 5 years is to have a presence in Europe. I don't have a company in Europe yet. Yeah.
In Africa, Asia, but not Europe.
Yeah, Africa, Asia, and the States.
States?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the goal in the next 5 years. One of the companies to be in Europe. To potentially say I'm in 4 continents.
Almost 5 then.
Yeah, just to tell myself
Yeah.
that, right? Personally, I think go back on to traveling. Because back in my 20s, I traveled a lot. And the more you travel, the more you realize there are more places to go to, right? So I want to go back to that and explore the world more. Because I'm getting old. Before, I'm okay taking a train in Uruguay for 3 hours without AC, right? Now
you need the business class or something.
I'm getting boring and old, so I want to be still young while I travel, right? So I want to go back to that.
You're so young.
No.
Come on, oh my gosh. So talented.
Lucky. I think luck.
Not lucky. You are. No, it's not about luck. It's about you deserve it. And you make it work.
Yeah, I think for all people, it's given that you have to give your 110%. That's not a question. There's no excuse for giving it your 60, 70%. If you're given a responsibility, give it your 110%.
Yeah, you need to be accountable for everything.
Right. The rest is luck and timing and meeting the right people at the right time. And I think that's why I say I'm lucky, because I met the right people at the right time.
Yeah. Nice. It was so nice talking with you, Paul, and thank you for all your sharing.
Likewise, darling.
It was really interesting and inspiring. I'm so happy to have interviewed you today, and I wish you the best for your future plans.
Thank you. I wish the project goes very well. And I think the project is, I said yes right away because of the purpose. I feel like if you tell people stories, there's going to be more reason for them to create better stories of themselves as well. So you're doing something amazing.
To do it afraid anyway, and I really want you guys to just put your fear aside and do it anyway, because what if you regret it to not do it? This is the worst case, I think, to regret something that you were too afraid to do.
Yeah, no regrets. Just love. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Paul.
Right.
See you guys in the next episode, and thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Okay.